So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, broadcast and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. If you watch Top Chef on Bravo, and everyone in my family does, you know that Gail Simmons, editor-in-chief of Food and Wine magazine, has the best gig of all the judges. Padma Lakshmi and Tom Colicchio have to hang around each day for most of the challenges, while Gail, at least the way it's edited, seems to helicopter in for the final tastings and judgings. She always looks composed and ready, sharp and spicy assessments ever at the ready. This season, she's even getting featured in an episode as the competing chefs cook for her bridal shower. Should be fun. Gail, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Delighted to have you. Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you very much.
Your bridal shower was videotaped for Top Chef.
It was.
No extra pressure on a bride there, right?
Pardon me?
I was going to say no extra pressure on a bride there.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, they created a shower for me. It wasn't necessarily my official bridal shower. It was one we created for the purpose of the challenge, which was super fun. An extra bridal shower, as it were.
I see. So does that mean you had two bridal showers?
I did. I was lucky enough to have one really private, small, beautiful one with my maid of honor and my sister-in-law and a few of my really close friends. And then, we had this big blowout bash, which I would have otherwise obviously never had, and it was so much fun.
So who rated an invitation to the Top Chef shower?
All my girlfriends. We had such a good time. It was really a chance for me to allow them to have a little peek into the craziness of Top Chef and what it's like to be behind the scenes and on the set. And there was about 40 of them, a lot of my colleagues from Food and Wine magazine, and all my girlfriends in New York. There was a pretty great group, of people who love food and were so supportive of the show, and we had so much fun. We had a great time.
That's right.
And the food was pretty good.
I was just going to ask you I wondered if the chef's projects went any better or worse in general for your event than they did for, say, catering the Foo Fighters concert.
Right. I would say in general better on the whole, although there was less components to deal with. Certainly. I was very nervous because not only was I cooking for my girlfriends and inviting them sort of into my life this way, but a lot of my girlfriends work in the food industry in many different capacities. So, they have amazingly trained palates, and they are just as critical, if not more so, than I am. So I was worried about it. But I have to say they all really had a great time and, were impressed with some of the food that they ate that day. And most of all, it was just a great celebration.
Now, I kiddingly said that there was no extra pressure on the bride,
right.
But I'm
thinking.
I'm thinking that for the chefs thinking about this event, forget everyone else who's there. Now they are specifically cooking for the editor of Food and Wine magazine.
Right.
When they cook for the Foos, that's a one-time thing. When they cook for you, you could have an effect on their careers way beyond Top Chef.
It's true and false. Well, I have to just clarify one thing. I'm not the editor-in-chief, but my editor-in-chief, who obviously I report to, was there as our guest judge. So we were all there. I've worked for Food and Wine for many years, and there were a lot of people from Food and Wine there, too. And, yes, there was pressure, and it's funny that I didn't even think about it so much because I think it's funny that people are intimidated by me. But obviously, on the show, I'm one of their judges, and I certainly am one of the people who decides how things go. And I think they were nervous, and I think they were intimidated. And I, feel badly about that. But my hope is that because they're intimidated and because they're nervous, they think and they make smart decisions and they cook great food. And in most cases, that's true. They did a good job.
Good. Were you ever concerned that, God forbid, but if the wedding didn't happen, that the bridal shower would wind up as an episode of TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes?
The wedding took place about 10 days after we filmed this episode. So at that point, the ship had sailed. The wedding was happening, whether we liked it or not. No, we did, and I was feeling pretty confident about my wedding and about my marriage, or else I wouldn't have, taken on this kind of window into my life. So, that would have been horrible, but I'm grateful that I didn't have to worry about it.
Sure. Now, did I misrepresent your time involvement in the show by saying that you helicopter in just for the judging?
I like that idea. I wish I had a helicopter. Maybe we can arrange that. I hope my producers are listening. I don't quite helicopter in, but you are perfectly right in that Padma, for example, has to be there every single day at every quickfire and at every elimination. Tom doesn't do the quickfires, but he comes in and checks on them in the kitchen for every elimination, and then I just come to the elimination and judge. Granted, our elimination days usually take 14, 16 hours, if not more. So it's not as quick and seamless as you think. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of setup. And then, of course, the decision we don't take lightly, and we often sit at that judges table for 5-6 hours, sometimes way longer, long into the night, sometimes into the early morning, talking and going over the details and making sure that we're all comfortable with the decision. So my days are pretty long on the set, but I don't have to work as many of them as Padma does, let's say.
Is it a tougher decision at the end of an episode to pick the winner or to pick the loser?
It's always tough to pick the loser. I mean, we never want to send people home on a personal level. It's not an easy thing to do. But this isn't personal. This has nothing to do with how much we like the chefs, and in many cases, we barely know the chefs. This is just about their food, and it's a competition. We're not pretending it's anything else. It's not about how nice you are, and it's not about, if I think you're a really great guy. It's about, did you cook well? Well, who cooked the least well? And whoever that person is, that's the name of the game, and they have to go home.
Do you think you guys have ever gotten it wrong early in the season about a judge? Maybe there was somebody got sent home a little too early?
I've never regretted our decisions, because even if at the end it's all about the one person who wins. So I've never regretted sending someone home, because even as you said, if we had sent someone home too early, we've never sent someone home who didn't deserve to not go home. I mean, really, it doesn't matter when they go home in the season. You don't get points for sticking around longer. At the end, it's just about who actually wins. And I've never regretted a decision we've made. We've had difficult decisions, and we've had decisions that could go many different ways. But there's no right or wrong. I mean, inherently, judging food is subjective, and it's really just about how we feel. And that's how it is, like it or not, which a lot of people don't like.
Well, last quick question.
Sure.
How has Food and Wine's connection to the show changed Food and Wine, either circulation-wise or profile? How has it been a benefit?
That's a great question, and I don't get that question a lot, and I wish I did. Bravo came to us when they were first figuring out the show and asked us to partner with them and sort of, work in a reciprocal way to enhance the show, and we took it on, and we were really excited about it, having no idea how successful it would be, certainly. I remember first going onto the set for season 1 thinking, wow, what are we all getting ourselves into here? But we have amazing producers, and we had a great formula, and we're lucky enough that now we're in our 5th season. And Food and Wine, it's been a great partnership. I mean, first of all, the producers and Bravo are super smart people, and they're people we enjoy working with, and I think it's been a really fruitful relationship. Definitely our circulation has gone up. Definitely our readership has expanded. I think people of all demographics are, if they're not reading the magazine, they're on our website, they're talking about the magazine, and they're just knowledgeable because of my position on the show and because the show the magazine plays a role in the show. It's that brand recognition that's so important, and especially in this day and age when the economy is doing some pretty wacky things, it's exciting that we have this great reach. And what's also exciting is that the demographic of the show is very young, and such a great demographic of viewers, and those are people who we're kind of getting to early. That Food and Wine is able to get to the young generation, the next generation of food lovers and wine lovers and really passionate people, and getting them to check out our magazine first. So that's really, really exciting for us.
Well, folks, you can catch Food and Wine's Gail Simmons every week as a judge on Top Chef, which has a new episode on Bravo every Wednesday, 10 p.m. You can also catch episodes you miss or highlights at bravotv.com. Gail, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.
All right, congratulations on the wedding.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And, of course, for dozens more food-related interviews, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with the editors of Cooking Light, Eat.com, and many more. Please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites. Whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, Digital Journal, Podcast Pickle, Vox, Folio, Mediafly, Podfeed.net. It's early, folks. Blueberry, Zencast, Odeo, the Amazon Kindle, or iTunes. If you've got an idea for a guest for Mr. Media, please email me directly, bob@andelman.com, ANDELMAN. Thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day for us.